Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Ryan here representing Run Repeat, and I'm here to tell you all about the Keen Explore Vent, which is a new lightweight hiker that Keen put out that I actually was lucky enough to get to try through Run Repeat. So it took me a little while to get 50 miles hiking on these, just because I don't do nearly as much long distance hiking as I do distance running. But with that said, I really want to do more hiking. So when Run Repeat let me know that we were gonna have a chance to try these, I jumped on it really quick because I've heard a lot of really good things about Keen shoes in general, and I wanted to give them a try. One of the first things that people always talk about is how wide they are throughout, specifically how wide the toe box is throughout. I did want to draw attention to the fact that I did not find this to be the case in this Keen Explore Vent. It's not necessarily a tight fitting shoe by any means. There's certainly enough width throughout, but I would compare it to the width of maybe something like Asics as far as a running shoe. Just to be completely honest with you guys, I don't do a lot of hiking, so I don't have a lot of comparisons within the hiking field. But I will say I was not blown away by the width of the shoe, especially for how much I kind of hear that when people talk about Keens. I will note that especially for a hiker though, I was a little bit surprised at the lack of toe box room in this shoe. I find that the toe box is a little bit rigid, and you can see through the design of the shoe that it's kind of got basically like a toe protector built into the front. It's certainly more rigid than the average running shoe. But with that said, my toes did not have a ton of room to flex in these. I did not find it to be uncomfortable. I run in Nike, so I'm used to shoes that have relatively narrow fits throughout, and even relatively narrow toe boxes. But I think that was one of the biggest surprises. This is a very lightweight shoe for a hiker, although I will say it's not a very lightweight shoe for a jogger or for a trail running shoe. Again, it's not designed to be a trail running shoe, so I don't think it's necessarily fair to compare it to something like Nike Kigers, which is my go-to trail running shoe. It's a very lightweight, almost something you could use as like a racer on the trails. But what usually I am looking for on the trails is kind of that shoe that's going to give me that really lightweight experience where I almost forget it's there. This Keen Explore Vent is not necessarily going to provide that same kind of feeling. A couple things I really do love about this shoe though, so let me start with that. One is the cushioning on the shoe is phenomenal for a hiker. You can see that I've got a ton of EVA foam. So again, it's the same kind of material in the foam that you would see in a running shoe. When I did take a couple running steps on this though, it was just something I decided immediately I'm not going to run in this. Again, the gait just felt a little bit weird, and more than that, they felt way heavier than the average running shoe that I would put on. I really like the lacing system in this shoe. The lacing system is pretty similar to a shoe that I just reviewed, which is the Nike Pegasus Turbo. You can see very simple 4 eyelet lacing system. You can see that even though I've had these on the trails, they haven't picked up a ton of dirt for being a black shoe. When you pick it up, it does feel like a very high quality shoe. They're using a mesh upper actually on the top, which I again thought was kind of nice, especially coming from the running and jogging world. It is a very breathable shoe. So again, it's not very hot, and I did wear this over the summer for some relatively longer hikes on hot days. The ventilation in the shoe is really quite excellent. Originally, when I wanted to check this out, I wanted to check out one of the more classic like boot type hikers they have. As someone who does as much running and jogging as I do, I think it was a good solution for me to give these a try, just because they kind of are that in between something I would consider like a classic hiker and a jogging shoe. One of the things I wanted to point out about this shoe is, especially for a hiker, I've gotten a lot of compliments on the way that these look. This is the black, and I believe it's like Arctic white is the other color that they're referring to here. But again, this is a very sharp looking shoe, especially for a hiker. And you notice I've got my black running jacket on today. A lot of my running gear is this color, so I find that it's a very versatile shoe style wise. I actually wore this shoe randomly on a field trip to the zoo. So I'm a teacher and I'm a coach. And there was one day we had to go on a field trip, and it was really rainy and kind of gross out. This was actually the shoe that I picked to take with me on that day, because I feel like it could handle any of the elements I threw at it. And it was still stylish enough that I could wear it with my jeans. And it didn't look like I was wearing goofy hiking shoes or goofy running shoes, which obviously if you've been in the running shoe or hiking shoe game in a long time, that's one of the biggest challenges, is finding stuff that's neutral. When I worked in the running store, there was very common complaint of, I just want something kind of more plain, or like I'm not used to that that really loud neon type of style. And people often look for shoes that have kind of these neutral tones, these darker tones. This is a really sharp looking shoe. When I really look at the shoe overall, It's a shoe that I like, but I don't love. There are a lot of things that I think work really well about it. Again, it's a very comfortable shoe. It's wide enough throughout. It's relatively light, but it's not as light as I expected. And it is bouncy, but certainly not as bouncy as a running shoe. Some of the things that I don't like about it are it is a little bit heavier than I would have expected. And there's not nearly as much toe room as I would have expected for something like a hiker. With that said though, this is a shoe that I really like to get out for hikes and will continue to wear it on my long hikes. And one of the biggest reasons for that is it just does feel like a safer, kind of more durable shoe. I do feel like if I'm out hiking, it's definitely got a lot more reinforcement in the upper, especially in the toe area. So I just feel a little bit safer kind of out in the elements in a shoe like this. And like I said, probably the number one thing about this shoe is it's just a very stylish, good looking shoe. I think for people who are looking for something that's kind of in between, right? I wouldn't call this a heavy duty hiker, and I certainly wouldn't use this for my trail running shoe. But if you're just looking for something that is neutral, something that looks good, and something that you can basically get out on the trails with and feel comfortable getting, I don't know, 10 miles easily in on a long hike, this is a shoe that's going to provide you enough support but still be lightweight enough to do all that stuff with it. So like I said, I would definitely give this a try if you're into distance hiking, and if you're looking for something that's stylish and something that's relatively lightweight, I think this is going to be a really good solution for people. If you are looking for a true trail running shoe, I would point you towards one of my reviews towards the Nike Kiger, which is one of my favorite running shoes, or even something like Ultra, something like Ultra Timps. I'm going to be putting a review out on soon, and that's a shoe that I really like. So again, there are some other options if you're looking for a true trail jogger or trail runner, but if you are looking for something lightweight, something stylish, and something that can just handle all the long hikes you throw at it, I would definitely give this Keen Explore Vent a try. And again, I just want to say thanks to Run Repeat for A, just being an awesome site, and for B, for giving expert users like myself the chance to try out these shoes and tell you guys about them, because for me, it's something I'm really passionate about, and I hope you guys get something away from all of my videos. So like I said, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to leave a comment below. But otherwise, check out my other video reviews here on Run Repeat, and continue to follow our channel, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.